What do Terrence Malick, John Ford, Paul Schrader, and Bruce Springsteen have in common? A shared obsession with lost souls chasing freedom on the American road. This is the story of how the Boss's music crossed from vinyl to celluloid, and how the movies, in turn, shaped his most cinematic songs. Right now, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere is hitting theaters. Directed by Scott Cooper, the film adapts Warren Zane's acclaimed book about the making of Nebraska, arguably the most intimate and haunting album of Springsteen's career. Jeremy Allen White, fresh off the bear, transforms into Bruce at a turning point in his life. The film dramatizes the fragile moment when fame collided with self-doubt, and the boss chose to strip everything down to a 4-track recorder in his New Jersey bedroom. It's a story about artistic reinvention, about refusing the spotlight in order to find the truth in shadows. And it reminds us, Bruce Springsteen's music has always been cinematic, both shaped by movies and shaping movies in return. That's what we'll explore today. Springsteen's relationship with cinema isn't just casual name-dropping. Movies have given him titles, moods, and even entire records. Take Thunder Road. It's not just a song. It's also the title of a 1958 Robert Mitchum crime film about moonshine running and broken lives. The film's sense of speed and fatalism bleeds into the way Bruce turns that road into a metaphor for escape. On the river, you'll find Point Blank and Ramrod, both echoing the tough, hard-edged tone of American crime cinema. And when Bruce wrote Atlantic City, he was under the spell of Louis Malle's film of the same name, a story about decay and second chances that mirrors the song's haunted characters. Even his later work keeps returning to the screen. Rainmaker, from Letter to You, is about a con man selling hope to desperate souls, directly inspired by Burt Lancaster in The Rainmaker, a 1956 Western where faith and fraud blur dangerously. And then there's Nebraska. Everyone talks about how that stripped-down, 4-track album feels like a Terrence Malick movie, because it was. Malick's Badlands didn't just inspire the tone of the record. Bruce actually named one of his most iconic songs Badlands years earlier, turning Malick's title into an anthem of defiance. But the boss's cinematic roots go even deeper. He once credited John Ford's adaptation of Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath as a direct influence, not just on the river, but even more on the ghost of Tom Joad. That album is practically a dialogue with Henry Fonda's character from Ford's 1940 classic. And here's a fun cinephile question. Was Springsteen a Monte Hellman fan? Twice in his career, he references Hellman's ride in The Whirlwind. In Western Stars, he raises a glass to the riders in the whirlwind. And back in the Born in the USA outtake This Hard Land, he sings, "We're riding in the whirlwind, sear chin for lost treasure." Two nods to a cult Western that can't be an accident. Springsteen, in other words, doesn't just watch movies. He absorbs them, reworks them, and fuses their imagery with his own myth-making. And soon enough, the circle closed. His own songs started feeding the movies. Take Highway Patrolman. The song tells the story of two brothers, one a cop, the other a troublemaker. The cop loves his brother, but is torn between duty and loyalty. Sean Penn was so struck by the song that he turned it into his first film as a director, The Indian Runner, 1991. Legend has it Penn, who at the time was dating Bruce's sister Pamela, once drunkenly told Springsteen he was going to make a movie out of the song. Bruce's response? A simple, dry, "Okay, Sean." And the result wasn't just a passion project. It gave Charles Bronson one of his last memorable performances, playing the family patriarch. Then comes Paul Schrader. In the mid-'80s, Schrader actually offered Springsteen a chance to become an actor. He sent him a script titled Born in the USA, with the idea of Bruce playing the lead. Springsteen wasn't interested in acting, but he liked the title so much he turned it into one of his greatest songs. To make up for it, Bruce gave Schrader another song, Light of Day, which became the title track of Schrader's 1987 film. That's why the album Born in the USA carries a thank you to Paul Schrader in the liner notes. Their collaboration left its mark both on cinema and rock history. And then there's Streets of Fire, 1984. Walter Hill wanted to close his film with Springsteen's song of the same name, sung on-screen by Diane Lane's character. But because it would have been re-recorded by another vocalist, Springsteen refused to grant the rights. The studio scrambled, and Jim Steinman stepped in with Tonight Is What It Means to Be Young, which became the anthem that closes the movie. Springsteen's reach even extends into Adam Sandler's cinematic universe, a place of nostalgia, loss, and unlikely tenderness. In A Wedding Singer, Hungry Heart plays in a bar scene when Sandler's character hits rock bottom, turning a classic anthem into a bittersweet echo of heartbreak. In Big Daddy, Growing Up underscores a touching montage of fatherhood improvised, a man and a child finding meaning in each other. Then comes Grown Ups 2, with its wild 80s costume party. And yes, it's Sandler himself who shows up dressed like the boss on the cover of Born in the USA. Finally, in Reign Over Me, one of Sandler's most moving performances, he plays a man shattered by grief, clinging to Springsteen's The River as both a refuge and a reflection of his trauma. Across comedies and dramas alike, the boss's presence becomes a quiet, emotional compass, reminding us how deeply his songs have seeped into American storytelling. Springsteen's music didn't just inspire films. It became part of their DNA. His songs slip into movie soundtracks in ways that amplify character, tone, and emotion. In Risky Business, a young Tom Cruise slides into adulthood with reckless abandon, and Hungry Heart plays as part of the film's exploration of youthful desire and chaos. Bruce's first big pop hit serving as a bittersweet anthem for choices that spiral out of control. In John Sayles' Baby It's You, the boss contributes not just music, but a spirit. Sayles, like Springsteen, is fascinated by working-class lives, ordinary people caught in extraordinary situations. Songs like It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City give the film a gritty backdrop, amplifying its story of love and class conflict. By the time we reach Jerry Maguire, Springsteen's Secret Garden underscores Tom Cruise's attempts at intimacy. It's not a sports film anymore. It's a fragile meditation on love, commitment, and vulnerability, with Bruce's voice stretching the scene into something aching and universal. In Copland, James Mangold uses Stolen Car to deepen his story of corrupt cops and fragile masculinity. The boss's music adds shades of melancholy to a film already steeped in betrayal and regret. But the two towering contributions are Streets of Philadelphia and The Wrestler. Jonathan Demme's Philadelphia needed a song that captured both the isolation of illness and the hope for dignity. Springsteen's hushed, almost whispered ballad became the soul of the film, winning him an Oscar and a Golden Globe. Years later, Darren Aronofsky was searching for the right sound to close The Wrestler. That's when Mickey Rourke, who had known Bruce years earlier, wrote him a long, heartfelt letter and sent him the script. Springsteen, moved by the story, wrote the song while on tour and gave it to the production for free. It went on to win a Golden Globe and should have won the Oscar. The Academy snub is still remembered as one of its greatest oversights. Springsteen's soundtrack moments aren't just needle drops. They're emotional anchors, songs that take a scene and make it echo long after the credits roll. And if all that weren't enough, cinema turned its eye back onto Springsteen himself, with documentaries that capture the man behind the myth. Springsteen and I paints a portrait of the artist entirely through the eyes of his fans, showing the profound way his music changes lives. Springsteen on Broadway strips everything down, just Bruce, a guitar, a piano, and the stories that shaped his life and art. There's Wings for Wheels, a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Born to Run, a reminder of how obsessive and uncompromising Springsteen could be in pursuit of greatness. More recently, Letter to You gave us a raw, intimate studio diary of Bruce recording with the East Street Band in the twilight of his career. And Western Stars turned one of his albums into a full cinematic experience, merging live performance with a meditation on age, memory, and American myth. Each of these films reveals a different facet of Springsteen. The worker, the storyteller, the mythmaker, but always with the same drive, to make sense of America through song. And then there's that rarest thing of all, Bruce Springsteen himself showing up in the movies. In High Fidelity, John Cusack's character, heartbroken and confused, imagines getting relationship advice straight from a boss. And really, who better? If anyone knows the anatomy of heartbreak, the hunger of love, and the poetry of loss, it's the man who gave us Hungry Heart, Brilliant Disguise, and Tougher Than the Rest. Springsteen's cameo is playful, but it hits on something real. His songs have always been guides through the messiest corners of love and life. So when we talk about Bruce Springsteen and cinema, we're not just talking about songs dropped into soundtracks. We're talking about a deep, ongoing dialogue between two art forms. Movies shaping his music shaping movies, and sometimes even Bruce himself stepping into the frame. From Thunder Road to The Wrestler, from Highway Patrolman to High Fidelity, Springsteen has been as much a part of cinema as he has of rock and roll. If you enjoyed this journey through the boss's cinematic world, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation in the comments. Which Springsteen movie moment hit you the hardest? We'll see you next time here at Mr. Smithee, where cinema always takes center stage.